You guys see these two things over here in between the pull-up rig? Those are bikers. And you do see these two things right here? Rowers, got it. This whole thing is going to be a hot take video. I'm going to start with something a little bit longer and maybe a little bit less hot takey, but more of a revelation that I had while sitting on the rower with the Lexus the other day. And it's that machines maybe have gotten a little bit of a bad rap as of late, and that's not going to be something that I really want to walk back at all. I don't want to walk it back at all, but I want to bring maybe a new perspective to a lot of it. Because at the games this year, Jason Hopper won, and Jason Hopper has the best FTP test on the biker. Gets 20 minutes of functional threshold power, I believe is the acronym there. And the games, I believe still, and a lot will still agree with the idea that it's going to favor somebody like him. Bigger, stronger, he's 6'3" or so, 225 pounds or so. And there's two realities here. Either Jason has found a way to cut the difference between somebody who's going to be the best in the sport. I say sport, but I could mean entire CrossFit world. I probably do mean entire CrossFit world. If you're somebody who does Fran and Diane and Helen regularly, you probably will not also be beating Jason Hopper on a 20-minute FTP test on the biker. There are people out there, the Lance Armstrong type, cycling types of the world who would smoke him, but probably not your CrossFit folk. And the point I'm trying to make here is that the realities are Jason either has been able to cut the difference between somebody who would and is the best at that in the space and other people who would be the best at pull-ups. A 20-minute pull-up test, a 20-minute burpee test, a 20-minute handstand push-up test. I've never seen one of those. You probably won't. And the difference between the two of those is there's different ways of measuring the power output. The biker is going to favor the Hulk. Jason Hopper is closer to the Hulk than he is, say, something like a Kirby. You play Super Smash Bros., you're gonna know who Kirby is. It's like a really light, bouncing freaking thing. And the way that I viewed CrossFit is that you kind of want to be like Kirby, but you also want to be able to put out the power output. But in the terms of Jason Hopper, you want to be able to put out the power output, but still keep up with the Kirby. It's this push and pull, it's this balance. And in the last video I made this point about how you can't have weight classes. That was on the main channel in relation to why Simone Biles is not fit, quote unquote. But in all reality, Simone Biles would be the fittest woman on earth if at her height and weight and skill level would be able to keep up with the strength and the endurance of the other women in the space. That's the push and pull, and it's something that you can see almost very simply on a rower. This is the revelation for the record. You can sit on the rower for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes and say, hey, give me as much as you got. I mean, hell, you could say it for an hour or two at this point because they've done it. They've done 3-hour rows at the games. And the winner of that row is going to be the most sustained power over that amount of time. And I just gave you a bunch of different time domains. What, did I give you 6 or 7 of them? Well, really, I did. 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 20 minute, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I gave you 6 or 7 of them. And really, if you took every single person who signed up for the Open this year and you put them through those 6 or 7 tests on the rower, you'd have a pretty good idea of who's fittest in line there. You'd have an even better example if you had them do that with the rower, those 6 or 7 tests, along with something like a burpee. You do all those time domains. You do 1 minute of burpees, you do 5 minutes of burpees, 10 minutes of burpees, 20 minutes of burpees, 60 minutes of burpees, 2 hours and 3 hours of burpees, and you also have the row test. You've got 12 tests or 14 tests, and you're going to have the better example of who's the fittest on that number of people. But wait, you can do it with every movement. Let's say you took 20 minutes and put people through those 6 or 7 workouts. All of a sudden you have 120 to 140, that's not even right, 240 to 280 different tests across all of these different time domains. But wait a minute, those are single modality. You got to do it mixed modal. You got to have them do box jumps and push-ups. You got to have them do pull-ups and thrusters. What are the thrusters? Oh, they got to be heavier or lighter because those were heavier or lighter. And then you see how hard it is to program this stuff, because now all of a sudden you just know the obvious. You didn't even need to watch the video to know that there is an endless number of things you could do to program to potentially find out how fit you are relative to yourself or your cohort. And one of the easiest things you can do is use a machine. That's all I'm trying to say. In practice, do a 20-minute row, do a 10-minute row. Feeling crazy, do it on the bike. You could do it this month, you could do it next month, you could do it 6 months from now, and you can probably have a pretty good idea of how fit you are relative to those times. Am I getting fitter or am I getting less fit? Just specific to that rower or machine, of course. This is not an excuse to use them in every freaking beck and call, by the way. It's an incredibly long-winded way of me saying that maybe they've been misconstrued as of late. How are they being implemented? I don't think they should be in every single workout of the week. That would be insane. I do think, however, if you want to know how fit you are, it's something that you probably should be using. And again, it's just another way of me trying to break down why I might get so up in arms about programming and why the CrossFit Games may have been skewed towards somebody more like the Hulk than it was a Kirby. Matt Fraser, basically the most Kirby-looking Hulk out-performing person ever created. motivated, right? That was point number 1. We're gonna get into point number 2 here. People don't want CrossFit. If you go to a CrossFit gym and you're doing multiple workouts a day, you're kind of really not doing CrossFit. Go to CrossFit.com. That's CrossFit. You come on in, you do your 5K row, you're done for the day. That's it. Bing, bang, boom. I really don't think many people want that. I think some people need it. I think everybody probably needs it. I think that oddly enough, the thing that makes people leave is the fact that they're doing more than that. For example, take the lit people. I don't think they would argue this for the record. I think if you had Jessica Griffith here with Amanda Barnhart and all they ever did was you got 5K row today, you've got Fran tomorrow, and let's just say it was build to a heavy set of 10 on the overhead squat on the next day, and although you did Fran, which is thrusters and overhead squat the next day with the shoulders as well, let's say deadlift. Deadlift is better. You go run, Fran, build to a heavy deadlift. Okay, that was 3 days on, then you take your 1 day off. That was all you did in those 3 days, 1 day off. I don't think that they would have their current headspace about how they burnt out or CrossFit burnt them out. I think that it was the training volume that they did from something that was not CrossFit. But the point here is that I don't think many people want CrossFit. It's this crazy conundrum that you're going to be in. People come to the gym, they want to sweat, they want to burn calories, they don't want to just do a 2-minute workout, they don't want to do a 10-minute workout, they don't want to spend all the time mobilizing at the beginning and the end, they don't want to cool down, they don't want to chat, they don't want to know the intended stimulus, they want to come on in and they want to throw their heads through the wall for 50 minutes. It's kind of what people will just be seeing as this circle of life, and no amount of screaming at somebody is going to make them not just eat ice cream on their random Thursday night. I want to lose weight, I want to lose nut weight, but you've eaten ice cream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like, but I didn't eat it for 2 days. It's like, yeah, that's better than nothing, but you're never going to be able to out-exercise that diet, and it would have been enough to have just done those 3 days of workouts with the 1 day off, and then you wouldn't need the 50-minute beat down. It's honestly insane. You got to give the people what they want to a degree, or you're not going to have any members, but then you're also not going to have any members on the back end. Do I have a solution to it at the moment? My solution is give the people what they want as much as often as possible, while also knowing and trying to do what's good for them and educating them on why. But yeah, people don't want to work out for 2 minutes was the whole point. They want more. It's idiotic for you to just say, well, we're doing Fran today, and if you don't like it, so what? I can probably keep that going on this thread. Number 3 is going to be that your wearables, and more notably the Whoop, isn't being used, and it's kind of an entire waste. Like, did you really need something on your wrist to tell you how crappy you are? Like, the biggest difference between this Garmin and the Whoop is that there's a watch face on it. I get more use out of the watch face than I do anything else. I shouldn't really say that because I don't think that I'm like most people. When I was using the Whoop, I would be doing the cold showers, I'd be monitoring my sleep, I never drink. And I hope that if there was a part of me that did say, hey, I want to have a beer on a Friday, I would take note of this and be like, ooh, that beer killed my HRV by X number of points. But the point here I'm trying to make is that a lot of people wear these things, they'll have a bunch of alcohol on a Friday, they'll be completely tanked, and then they won't apply that to the future. I think that this should be used as a shame device. Oh, my HRV's in the garbage because I had 14 freaking shots of vodka yesterday. Next week I'm gonna have 7. I'm gonna use that 7, which is still a half. I still got all messed up, and I'm gonna see what it did to my HRV relative to the 14. Oh, it still tanked it. I'm gonna do 3 shots. I'm gonna do 1 shot. Oh my gosh, I can't have a freaking 1 shot of alcohol. If you're using it like that, all of a sudden it's not a waste. That's great. It got you, it shamed you, it bettered you into a better version of yourself, which I think is what the point is. You can do the same thing in relation to alcohol with sleep, for the record. Oh, I got 6 hours of sleep. My HRV and my amount of deep sleep is low. What if I sleep more? What if I sleep earlier? What if I go to bed a little later, wake up later in the day? But what I see and have seen so many times is you just look at it, it's like, oh, my HRV is 20. Did you drink? Yeah, I drank. Why did you drink? I don't know. Why is it 20? It's like, I don't know. It's like, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, I know. It's like, you didn't really need this to tell you, nor are you using any of the data to do anything with it. You're just giving Whoop money for no reason. I only got 30 minutes of deep sleep yesterday. It's like, hey, that's not that good. Yeah, but I only slept for 4 hours. It's like, well, duh, you're not going to go through another sleep cycle to get more deep sleep. Your sleep was restless because you started doing it at 1 p.m. at night after working until 12:30 with your eyes in the screen. What are you, a YouTuber? So yeah, the wearables are usually a complete waste for most people unless you're using them to do something with them. Back to the gym owners with point number 4. It's kind of right up next to point number 2 in that if you don't post your workouts at the beginning of the week, what are you doing? And the reason that you can put it right up against point number 2 is because you're giving the people what they want as much as you can while also knowing. And people think that it's got to be unknown and unknowable, but you have people who are giving you money to come to your place of business. They want to know what they can be doing, but also hiding the workouts, I think, is just a little bit too far. If you want to throw another point into this sort of headspace of it, it's the somebody shows up 3 minutes late to class and they now need to do 100 burpees before they start doing the warm-up with everybody else. It kind of reminds me of those SEAL camps where they bring people in and you just do your weekend of torture for no reason. You're being humiliated in front of everybody and you're paying to have have it done. I don't know what sort of people like that. Like, what are you thinking? Why would you pay money to be just freaking waterboarded in front of 20 people on a Saturday morning at 3 a.m. outside with your clothes off? Have you seen those things? It's crazy. But that's kind of what you're doing when you have somebody who just got off of their 9-hour workday, rushing through rush hour, trying to change while they're driving, showing up to the gym 3 minutes late. Hey, 100 burpees, you're late. Not quite like the waterboarding workout of the day or doing burpees, but not posting your workouts is closer to those things than it would be anything else that's much more worth your time for actually putting your foot in the ground for. I say it's the sword you want to fall on. Like, oh, you're not going to look at the workouts. It's unknown and unknowable. It's real CrossFit. It's like, is that really the sword you want to fall on? It's like choosing your battles and which ones are actually worth the squeeze when it comes to your business. And I don't think that hiding the workouts from your people allows them to make the best decisions for their week ahead, which will end up leading to them leaving at some point. For the record, I speak from experience as myself as a gym owner, having seen what it looked like at the gym previous. No one knew what the workouts were, and it was much tougher to get them to come in more often. So when I took over at my place, we always sent the workouts out a week ahead. Final point that I make often: if you need to prep for the open, you're not doing CrossFit. You think you're at a CrossFit gym and you're doing open prep? Sounds freaking crazy. It's one of the reasons that I really don't like that people like Froning Fraser, Andy Katrin stopped signing up for the open. Those are just the first people I thought that were the best of the best, and now they just don't do CrossFit anymore. If you are doing the thing, the method, the way you're supposed to be doing it forever. I think that the best thing would be to see like kind of where they stack as they age. You've got the organism, you have birth to death, and over the course of birth to death, you want to see and map their fitness plots over the course of their lifespan. It's kind of how I look at the whole thing, and we're just losing data when they don't sign up for the open on the fittest people who have ever walked the planet. I don't care that you don't want to compete anymore. I don't care that you don't want to put in all this work anymore, but I do want to see like what your genes have done for you over time. And this is just another way of me saying that they should always be prepared for the open if they are still doing CrossFit. And if you're like, I gotta really up the amount of double unders, burpees, and pull-ups and high repetition, you're not doing CrossFit, or you haven't been doing it year round. All of a sudden it throws a giant sword into the, I'm gonna go do a bunch of biking, and all of this biking is still CrossFit. I'm gonna go do high rocks, and all I've been doing is high rocks races. But yeah, that's a CrossFit workout. But in any sense of it, if you need to do stuff to get ready for something, notably Murph, you haven't been doing CrossFit the entire time leading up to it anyway. You should be prepared to go do it at any point in time. That's probably why somebody like James Sprague is actually the fittest person on earth, because he does this, he does that, he does that. Oh, didn't Jason Hopper just run half a marathon? Didn't he just kind of do it at random? I get triggered by Murph prep. I get triggered by open prep. You shouldn't be doing those things, or you're not doing CrossFit. Hey, this video comes out on Sunday. Number 2 is going to be a link to the weekly live stream. It's Sunday at 12 Central, noon. So that's 1 o'clock Eastern, and then that's 10 o'clock Pacific. If you want to jump onto that live stream, that will be link number 2, just so you can kind of see what it's all about if you're into that sort of deal. Other than that, bye.